Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Shortbox Podcast.
The Shortbox Podcast is recorded live from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Hell yeah, what up?
Hey, I totally forgot this was a video. Got a hat. I'm good.
Our lighting is so bad in here. Oh, let me see if I can add some sensual lighting or something. Damn, that low-key. This is... No, it's definitely worth getting on the camera.
Yeah. Bro, check that thing out.
You got great lighting.
Yeah, that's
Ashley.
great. Here, you know what? I'm gonna do Ed a solid.
Oh, man. I feel like a McDonald's hamburger.
Can you see the cat?
Oh, I see him. Hey, buddy.
Just chilling. All right. I'm kind of sad I'm not there. That lighting makes me feel like you guys are at like the back of a club or something.
I know. We're just doing coke back here. And getting crazy.
That's why I wasn't invited.
Well, you know, you're a married woman. You know, we can't. You know,
Yeah, we gotta look out for
such
you.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta look out for it. We'll do all the hard drugs and, you know...
We'll tell you about it. You can... Yeah.
Okay.
That's so disappointed. Oh, I guess.
It only took us, 9 years to finally decide to get with the times.
Embracing the future. That's what all the other podcasts are doing.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Yo, Shortbox Nation. Nice to have you back. This is episode 342, and if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to your new favorite comic podcast. I'm your host. My name is Botter Milligan, and today I'm joined by 2/3 of the rest of the Shortbox crew. We got Miss Ashley Lanny Hoy joining us from the comfort of home. What's up, Ashley?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh.
They love you, Ashley. They love you. They love you. And then in the Shortbox studio,
in person.
here with me, in person at that, is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Edmund Danzart is here with us as well.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, they won't stop.
Oh, they
please,
love it. Oh,
please,
guys,
please.
You get embarrassing yourself. Sit down.
All right. Cesar was supposed to join, but he's doing the most 90s old guy thing. And he's at a,
Welcome to Rockville.
Yeah, he's at Welcome to Rockville.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's going to see Metallica in Cypress Hill.
Also going to see a lot of jorts.
A lot of jorts.
A lot of jorts at Rockville.
A lot of wallet chains.
So today we'll be discussing some worthwhile news, updates, and headlines that have taken place in the comic and pop culture world that are worth mentioning, including some fresh Disney Plus Day announcements. And we'll see if we can't find time to chat about the Eternals movie. Of course, we'll follow that up for 2 regular recurring segments, Fistful of Comics and Champion Season. So something a little light, a little more relaxing for this episode. But before we get into the news, I want to thank last week's guest, comic colorist Nick Filardi. We had a great conversation, and I got a lot of insight into the world of comic coloring. So if you haven't heard his interview yet, give episode 341 a listen. It's very much worth your time. Ashley, I don't know if you got around to that one yet, but I appreciate you so much more in what you do for comics.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, but Nick's like a really nice guy. I've met him a couple times at conventions.
He's really nice, and I didn't know that his career was like 20. I didn't know he was 20 years in, because he looks so like young. You think like he just got started, but
he started when he was, I think, teenager, I believe.
Yeah, and he talked some shit too. I liked it. Like he got on like his soapbox and wasn't afraid to let people know that he's been in the game for a long time, and really emphasized like how important a colorist is in the whole process. And it really kind of gave me a heads up into how you guys get kind of like the shit end of the stick when it comes to like scheduling. Like if the writer or artist decides to take longer, like
we're kind of going through that now, aren't we?
That's a good.
Thanks, Ashley. No, it's fine.
All will be revealed soon. All right.
We'll sneak behind the curtain.
Yeah. Well, kind of related. One last thing, Shortbox Nation. If you live in the Jax or surrounding area, hopefully you've heard the good news already. We're getting back on stage in December to record a live podcast, and guess what? You're invited. Come out for a Spider-Man themed live show on Friday, December 10th. We'll be recording the show at the Brian Gooding Planetarium at the Museum of Science and History. That's MOSH for all you locals. Register for some free tickets. That's right, free $99 to partake in this fun. Visit the Eventbrite link in this episode's show notes and come out for a damn good time. It won't cost you nothing, and you can enjoy the show for the rest of the Shortbox Nation. Like I said, it'll be a Spider-Man themed episode to coincide with the highly anticipated Spider-Man No Way Home movie. Put it on your calendars. Hell, even if you don't live in Jax, I encourage you to spend money to fly into Jacksonville in December for that hour show.
The show's free, guys. I mean,
true. I mean,
you can spend the money on travel,
and I think you can get tickets pretty cheap if you book now. I mean, actually, what you think people won't fly out to come for a live show? I mean,
the pressure on the performers.
I might leak Ashley's rider list before the
God.
event just to showcase all the wild stuff she wants. Diva over here.
Oh no!
So yeah, get those tickets now. Like I said, December 10th live show. Be there. That's my first shameless plug of the show. I've got plenty more lined up later on. But let's get into the news and let's see what's been going on in the comic industry. This past Friday was Disney Plus Day, which was, is it the first Disney Plus Day? I think this might be the second.
Yeah.
Not really sure about count-wise.
Yeah.
But another kind of big marketing day for Disney Plus subscribers. It was an opportunity for Disney Plus to showcase as well as tease some upcoming projects.
So many title cards.
Dude, yeah, exactly. It was just like, what was the last? San Diego Comic-Con. No, not San Diego Comic-Con. I'm sorry. It reminded me a lot of the joke that we made for DC Fandom, which happened about a month or two ago, where it was a lot of like, yo, we really shouldn't even be mentioning this because we have nothing to show you other than a title card, but here it is.
Here's some concept art.
Yeah, let's make a whole day / event out of it. It's free, so I mean, it didn't cost me nothing but like maybe 15 minutes of a long ass trailer. Yeah, so they revealed a lot of upcoming shows, showed some teasers, some concept art for like for projects coming up. And I wanted to ask you guys, had you seen the Marvel Studios trailer that kind of showcased all of the projects coming out? And what caught your eye?
I didn't watch the trailer. I just kind of like scrolled through all the articles. Because I don't know. I don't like knowing stuff
They're
too
only
far
like
ahead of time.
5-second teasers though. They weren't like full on trailers.
That's even worse. Because then you're like excited for it with like no end.
I'll go ahead and tell you this much. The 15-minute Marvel Studios trailer that is on Disney Plus, the first, I want to say 4, if not 7 minutes of it is really just kind of like a recap of like all of their Disney Plus shows thus far. So it's like you go through like WandaVision. So it's like this little vignette. I think it's a better word. A vignette of like all the big moments from like WandaVision. Mm-hmm. And then it's, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And then it's, another couple minutes of like Loki. And they even include What If, which I thought was cool because it once again kind of solidifies that, hey, this show is in continuity. It's to be taken serious.
They're doing a season 2. They announced season 2.
Yeah, they announced season 2. So once you get past all of the vignettes and the recaps for the current Marvel Disney Plus shows, and then they get into like the new kind of teaser for the new shows. Primarily, they showed some clips and footage for Moon Knight, She-Hulk.
Got to see She-Hulk's butt.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like it just is like I'm Jennifer Walters. I'm a lawyer, and then it teases you like that one in Moon Knight where you see like part of the costume, but you don't see the full. And it's like She-Hulk's kind of like almost like that workout kind of spandex outfit.
The She-Hulk trailer, as much as we are cracking jokes about them, like kind of teasing the full like view of what she looks like.
Yeah,
I will say that one has me interested because they are playing into her being, the lawyer. They're working in the Bruce Banner and Hulk angle, so we will get to see Mark Ruffalo. It looks like he's going to be making an appearance in the series as well. That one's got me interested to see like Hulk in a different light. And in a more than just a supporting cast member.
Yeah,
right?
and Hulk is like you see Ruffalo as Ruffalo, and you see the Hulk Ruffalo too, because he's like the smart Hulk talking to her.
Yeah,
so you get to see two versions.
And that little scene where it's like it looks like clearly like it's a lawyer commercial that Jennifer Walters is doing with her cousin.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't want to see me angry.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, this looks like the comedy might be on point.
Yeah, and that's from like the classic Hulk show, TV show line. Yeah,
so I'm
don't
here
make
for
me
that.
angry. You don't like me when I'm angry.
Yo, this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YOO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And then I mentioned that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material. None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YOO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show. I will argue that the Moon Knight trailer showed a little more. They at least showed you, if there was enough shown that if you freeze framed some of the scenes or stills, you can get the full image. Seeing Oscar Isaac as like the main hero and hearing that voice he's got, and it looks like they're going to play into Mark Spector and his multiple personality and kind of going crazy, which I'm all here for. Yeah,
there's in the short things that you see him like snapping to after like looks like he beat up a bunch of guys, and he's like, what just happened? Yeah,
just like the Batman in the Batman trailer where it's like him pounding a dude's face in. I was like, oh, Moon Knight's doing the same thing.
He's gonna out Batman.
But She-Hulk, for some reason, they were just afraid to show you anything
you
higher
see a
than
butt
her.
And like a green arm.
Yeah,
it like zooms up and then it cuts to like the Hulk talking. What's his name? Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Bruce Banner.
The smart Hulk.
Yeah. It's like they were afraid to show you the face, but they show you everything behind, which was, I get it. They don't want to like completely like, ruin the moment or, even though it's a big old trailer / advertising event. Anyways, but they also showed a short teaser trailer for Miss Marvel as well. Cool. Which I thought looked really good. It looks very faithful.
She looks great, and it's they kind of do a callback to the comics where she didn't change shape, but she's in the Captain Marvel outfit. Like in the original series, she basically shapeshifts into the old version of Captain Marvel, the one with like the red sash and the blue kind of bikini outfit she used to have with a lightning bolt. She did that in the comic, but in this one, it has her dressed up like on top of a building, dressed up as the MCU version. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Ed, what about what of the projects that they announced? Well, of the title cards that they shared of upcoming projects, which I'm assuming all of these projects probably won't see the light of day until 2023, 2024, maybe even until 2025. But did any pique your interest before I kind of go down the full list?
The Agatha House of Harkness. I'm like really. Because I love Catherine Hahn. It's like, oh, that's awesome. She's great.
Do any of you recall if they had already teased or made an announcement about that, or if this was like...
I haven't heard.
I wonder if this was based on the success of WandaVision and how well received Catherine Hahn was, or Agatha was. Because that one threw me off the most is, we just were introduced to this character this year, and we've already got a dedicated solo show announced. And if I had to guess, it's probably going to maybe recount her adventures early on and how she got to the city, maybe.
And I don't know if they're going to transition her like in the comics where it's kind of like where she bested her, but she can kind of help her control her powers, like as a mentor
to Wanda.
Mentor type figure. So I don't know, because it's kind of ambiguous what happened to her.
I'd like to think they were like, there's no way that we're letting Catherine Hahn just go away.
No, she's great.
We got to make something. Give her a fucking show. And maybe I'm getting a little ahead, but the title card for Echo, which is a very obscure Marvel character, in my opinion.
It's a newer character.
Yeah, definitely a fucking D-list at the very most, right? If not a Z-list character.
And that was tied in with Ronin and Hawkeye, right? That character.
Yeah, Well, I mean, she first made her comic appearance in like Daredevil, of course, and I want to say it might have been like during the Kevin Smith era, so like early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So it started out as like raised by Kingpin to become an assassin. Becomes a arch enemy for Daredevil. Eventually kind of comes around, takes up the Ronin mantle later on when like New Avengers comes around and whatnot. So, but for her to get her own show, I was like, damn. I wonder if it's going to be like kind of a cold introduction where it's like, hey, here's the character and whatnot, or if she makes an appearance in the upcoming Hawkeye film or Hawkeye series, and that's how we, kind of pivot from there.
I think they just have to spin her off because, like, I'm a comic reader, but I haven't read one comic with that character in it. Oh. I have no idea. I had to look up who Echo was. I was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, you've probably seen her in a lot of like those David Mackey Daredevil covers from back in the day.
Okay.
Like she's the one with like the handprint kind of tattoo or mark on her face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Still haven't read anything with her in it.
And was there anything else that might have piqued your interest?
If I can stray from Marvel, they're doing a Willow series, I think. From the 1988 Warwick Davis fantasy film, Val Kilmer. I don't think Val Kilmer's in it.
Oh.
So, yeah. I
missed opportunity.
Fat Val Kilmer in this. But there's like a little vignette with him and like the actors, and they're like mispronouncing his name. And it's just a funny little, it's a pretty funny thing. So I'm kind of interested in seeing, why they're bringing this back. Because like I said, I don't think there was a big groundswell to bring back Willow or to revisit this world. So, but I like Warwick Davis. He's funny, and I thought that was and a lot of the cast is like people who are in the MCU. So the guy that played Flash Thompson in Spider-Man, he's in it. The main protagonist in Winter Soldier, the girl, with the frizzy hair, I forgot her name, the Flag Smasher.
Oh yeah,
she's in it. So there's some MCU people in it. So it's pretty cool.
Did anyone see the kind of staying off Marvel for a quick second, which pains me at the moment, but the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which is streaming next year. Of course, even though that one is probably we'll be seeing that sooner than probably a lot of the other projects announced. They only shared stills and maybe some concept art for that one. But to see an Obi-Wan Kenobi series,
and they're doing that Boba Fett series too. So,
which that trailer looks, I know that one came out well before Disney, a couple weeks before Disney Plus Day. But the trailer for that's got me pretty excited. I think that one is premiering either at the end of December or like January. I can't recall at the moment.
Well, how long has this Obi-Wan one been going? I feel like I heard about this like a year ago.
I think they've been teasing it, or people have been wanting it. And I think...
but it was never officially announced?
Yeah, I think it's official. It was kind of like rumors, I believe, but I think it's officially official.
Yeah, McGregor is going to be back is going to be back too. I mean, come on now.
And what's his name?
Hayden Christensen?
Yeah, where's that guy been? Yeah, he's coming back.
I think he's been in hiding for the longest time, and now that he's like...
Everyone hated him.
Now that people are like, nah, he was wrong hating you, man. He's like, all right.
This has been enough time.
Yeah, I'll come back out of hiding. To kind of go back to the rest of the MCU stuff that's been announced, we've got a title card for Ironheart, so the story of Riri Williams.
That's live action, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think most of these will be live action. Like Secret Invasion, they did show like Nick Fury's going to be kind of the star of that Secret Invasion project as well.
He looked cool. I did see that.
Yeah.
With the scraggly beard, and he didn't wear the eye patch.
And it just
milky eye.
Yeah. Ew. And then as far as animated, Ed, you said that they are bringing back What If Season 2, or What If is getting a Season 2, which would be cool to see like more. I'm sure that they'll continue like the MCU What If plot points, but I'm curious if they work in any like classic comic book plot points. I think that was the only thing I was really missing from this first season.
And I didn't watch the finale, but they didn't finish the Vision with the gauntlet, kind of the Ultron Vision with the following the Watcher, chasing him down. They didn't resolve that, right?
No, they did. They did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was so good. You didn't finish it?
I didn't finish it.
Oh, actually, you liked What If?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I think one of those episodes. I don't remember which one I didn't like. There's one that
there's one or two like
I didn't
really.
like, but everything else.
The zombies one, because they're making a series.
The Marvel Zombies one.
Hey, they're making a series of it. They're making more of it.
Oh, great! Well, all the other ones were awesome.
I think Party Thor was probably my least favorite one. I felt like that one was just like really slow.
With Frost Giant Loki, you didn't like that?
Well, Frost Giant Bro Loki was pretty cool. So I'll give you that. They are doing a new animated show for Spider-Man freshman year. Yeah, I'm sorry. It says new animated series that follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man, harkening back to the character's comic.
Oh, it was just him getting like beat up and stuff at school. Wow,
definitely 2 episodes of him getting shoved.
I don't want to relive those years.
Yeah. On the cute side, we're getting a I Am Groot series. It's going to be a bunch of like original shorts exploring Baby Groot's glory days growing up and getting into trouble.
Because he's a teenager in the last one. Yeah, he's a teenage Groot.
I guess Marvel Studios was like, yo, we can't let Baby Yoda.
I know this is a cash cow.
Yeah, hell no.
We need another cute thing to sell.
Well, they're trying to remind us about like the OG cute thing,
Yeah.
Don't forget.
And then, of course, Marvel Zombies looks like it might be an animated series as well, but it'll continue the story from the What If episode, because that What If episode for Marvel Zombies does end in kind of like a cliffhanger, because it ends with zombie Thanos with the gauntlet. Yeah. So I'm sure that they'll play into that. And I think that's pretty much it as far as like the MCU stuff. I mean,
are you saving the most important one?
Oh, which one did I miss?
The X-Men.
Oh my gosh! Oh yes, I'm so. You know what? I glossed over it because it was supposed to be one that I was going to go detail. Shit. No. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh my god! Like, how could you pass that up?
Only I would drop the ball to a really good setup. In that vein, aside from Moon Knight, the one announcement
everybody
that had me. Yeah, you're right. Not only just me, but it felt like everyone I followed on Twitter, everyone just like in general that loves comic books as well as like animated shows, is the announcement that the X-Men animated series is being revived for a brand new series. It's going to be called X-Men 97, which, I mean, to me, it's just like, it's like X-Men 97. Yes. Like we know what you guys want. We're bringing it back. But it's supposed to pick up
most people's X-Men, like generationally. That's like our X-Men.
If it wasn't, and I kind of feel like the Jim Lee X-Men series and this one go hand in hand so well, because I mean, I believe this was supposed to be based off like the Jim Lee, Chris Claremont 90s X-Men
but
series.
More people watched the cartoon.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100. That was like my gateway drug. More. I think at my parents' house they still have the VHS of like the first 2 episodes. Nice. I mean, I might have to go steal it.
Remember those rip-off things? The 2-episode VHS
Oh
tapes?
my god. But
so lame.
So this new series, X-Men 97, is supposed to pick up from the X-Men, the animated series finale, which for anyone that might have forgot, the original X-Men animated series ended on season 5, episode 6. I think by then, if I'm not mistaken, like they had a lot of like their budget pulled. That's why like the animation looks kind of wonky. Yeah. And that's why it ends on such a short, like,
they got that number. Disney money now.
Oh man, what? Try canceling us after season 5, right? But the season finale of the original series ends with Lilandra taking Xavier with her to receive the care that he needs from the Shi'ar Empire because he was attacked at a press conference, which I think is per the usual when it comes to like Charles Xavier. He just cannot show up at a press conference as a guest speaker because some mutant hating.
They only had Zoom back then. You could have just He's just called in.
But some like the usual anti-mutant hating motherfuckers always there. He ends up getting shot or something to that effect. But that's kind of how it goes in that season finale. He ends up getting wounded. And the X-Men have to say goodbye to him because he got to receive like alien care, and they're not sure if they'll ever see him back. Which I think if this new series picks up from there, you've got a lot of room to tell that story of what the X-Men have been up to. And whatnot.
Bringing back a lot of the voice actors from the show,
big time. You've got Cal Dodd coming back as Wolverine, so that'll be legit. The original voice actor for Rogue, Nightcrawler, Beast, Mr. Sinister, Jean Grey, and Gambit are all returning. And then you've got the original writers like Eric and Julia Lewald, and original director Larry Houston. They'll actually be consulting on the series, which I think is pretty cool that their contributions aren't being brushed aside or they're not being forgotten. Like they get to have a say in this. Because I know that they were really invested in that series, and it really kind of hurt them to see it, for that budget to be pulled, and they had to work with what they had. So for them to be able to be a part of this resurgence and be a part of the fan excitement makes me happy.
Yeah, and it's very smart too to kind of bring back this show to kind of whenever they decide to bring in the mutants into the MCU.
Dude, power play. Yeah.
It's so smart.
But we're also getting some new blood too, like Beau DeMayo. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But he was a writer on the Netflix series of the animated Witcher series. He'll be a writer on this series. And then in the director role for this new relaunch is Jake Castorena. He's known for his work on a few DC animated projects like Batman the Killing Joke, Gotham by Gaslight. So we'll have someone with experience there. And then as far as new voice actors, we got like Jennifer Hale, who's voiced like Jean Grey in the X-Men animated TV series. And then you've got Johnny Bravo himself, Jeff Bennett, is joining the voice acting cast too.
Wow.
Nice.
Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, thank you very much. But this show, I believe, is due to hit Disney Plus in 2023. Is all I know so far. But I am super hyped to see X-Men back. And I mean, it's like the title card was plain and simple. X-Men, 97. One time for the 9-7.
They even do the meme, the Wolverine meme, where he has the
oh my god,
picture.
Yes, yeah. The marketing is
they
so
gotta
great.
bring that back.
Yeah, they're playing into it.
They gotta
so
bring
great.
that scene back.
Yeah. So
Are those episodes on Disney Plus, like the
all of
old
them.
ones?
Yep.
All of them.
Okay.
All 5
Okay.
seasons.
See, I never saw them. I was when I had cable, it was X-Men Evolution.
Oh god,
which is still good too. It's
I
good
liked
its own
it.
way.
I liked it a lot.
that's the one with the
I
goth
just
rogue,
never saw
right?
the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she's super cool.
Yeah.
So I'd say out of everything,
inspiration.
yeah, I'd say out of everything Disney Plus Day related, X-Men 97 and Moon Knight were my two that had me the most hype. Actually, when I asked for what stories everyone was going to cover, you've got an interesting one. It's not related to Disney Plus Day. I thought it was because I thought it probably fell in line with it, but this was actually announced a few weeks ago. How about you go ahead and tell the Shortbox Nation what are you spotlighting today?
So I just found out spring 2022 they are releasing a Chippendales Rescue Rangers movie, voiced by John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. It's live action and CGI. Yeah.
Oh, it's live
Chippendales
action?
Gonna have live action and CGI. It's gonna have Gadget.
Oh my god.
And Monterey Jack, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, that floats when he smells cheese. He like floats in the air.
it reminded me of like childhood, and I haven't even thought about the show in like 20 years.
Oh boy.
I was just super excited to see this.
I wonder what they're gonna there's gonna be the more inappropriate drawings of Gadget on DeviantArt coming.
Damn,
That's terrible.
I hate that there is no image or anything for this. I really want to see
I don't know, that CGI and live action. I'm not sure. Those usually aren't that great.
I'm kind of here to see John Mulaney and Andy Samberg.
Oh, that's great. That's cool.
As chipmunks, as like weird human chipmunk hybrids.
What was the cat? The Kingpin cat? Was that the bad guy? He was like a.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. I don't remember his name, but
Seth Rogen's gonna.
I keep thinking they did Rocket Raccoon. Like they can do a raccoon, they can do two little chipmunks.
Very good point.
Yeah, like why not?
That's a good point.
But okay, but
what?
Did you see the Tom and Jerry? I'm thinking like Tom and Jerry or. Well, that wasn't really CGI. I don't know. I just.
What if they do something like Sonic?
Sonic, Sonic's okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But the same way that Sonic did, where they tested the waters first with like that little short, that
everyone
original
freaked
trailer,
out.
and then everyone freaked out, and
They gave him like human teeth and real fur, and they went crazy. And they actually got bullied into making him like this $1 billion company got bullied into redesigning him.
Yeah, hell yeah!
But
the people won that day.
I don't know. Are they going to be like weird real fur, like
I'm here for
I hope
it.
so.
creepily gross looking, or are they going to be like smooth like Sonic? Like
John Mulaney's
cartoony.
voice.
No, they're
John
gonna be like
Mulaney-
super cute.
John Mulaney has like, I love anytime he does like some voice acting, like especially in like Big Mouth. He's got such a calm demeanor and voice, but like the shit he says and the things that like is written for him or
now
he
I'm
writes
thinking of
is
like an
so good.
R-rated Chippendale with the Big Mouth reference. Oh,
Actually,
I don't
that
know.
is a very wholesome story to highlight.
Has there been pictures? Have you seen pictures of it, or is it just the announcement?
The only thing I've seen is they had like a little tiny script, like a
Oh.
literal actual mini script that had the Rescue Rangers logo on it.
Oh
okay.
yeah, that's what's
Like that was like their teaser.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
might-
But
that's
it's coming out next year. It's not like we have to wait
the
years for
business
it.
card. Okay.
Yeah, no, that is.
Yeah.
If you look, that is the
It's like
image,
a mini script.
Yeah, that is the image they use on Wikipedia.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, this is coming out
It's
spring
adorable.
2022. That is pretty cool.
It's
No,
gonna
that's
be
pretty
weird.
cute. No, that's gonna be cool.
Ah.
Actually, that is a wholesome news story to highlight. And,
Are you
And I
surprised?
love it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you've come up. Maybe it's just like the facade or characterization that we've made for you
Yeah.
on this show as being like
The
a
darkness.
soul collecting
Yeah.
dark emo goth murder loving, and I don't know where I'm going.
That
with
likes
it.
chipmunks.
Chipmunks. If Dale's wearing the Hawaiian shirt, that's gonna be
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
he's definitely. They're going to come through with it. I mean, it's Disney Plus. Like they know they're going to come through with it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm here for these like classic '90s.
I'd be more excited if it was
revivals.
just the regular cartoon, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. Let us see what's got coming up. All right, you know what? I'll go ahead and insert myself for this one. Speaking about adaptations that have been recently announced. This one was another kind of big one that, for the most part, I think had a lot of comic fans excited when it was announced. And that was earlier this month. Actually, I think not even 2 weeks ago, but Taika Waititi. There you go.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi.
Close enough.
Has signed on.
Almost.
What am I missing? What am I
No,
saying?
I'm
Taika.
that's
Taika. All
Isn't
right.
it Taika
It's-
Waititi?
Yeah, it's. I mean, no one's gonna blame you for mispronouncing that name. That's
Except for Cesar.
a crazy
Well,
name.
I mean, that would require
Taika
Cesar to
Waititi.
listen.
Yeah.
It has been announced that Taika Waititi.
Yeah. Well, that's as good as it gets.
Just keep moving.
It has been announced that Taika Waititi has signed on to direct the first feature adaptation of Alejandro Jodorowsky and Mobius's best-selling graphic novel, which
Man.
apparently is like one of the highest-selling sci-fi graphic novels of all time, the Incal. He's making a live-action movie adaptation alongside French comic publisher Humanoids and then their producing partner Primer Entertainment. Waititi is also co-writing the script for the project. It'll be Humanoids' first foray into film, which is pretty interesting considering that they have plenty of stories and IP and material that they could
If this
adapt.
does well, I think we're gonna see some crazy stuff
For sure.
down
I
the
mean,
road.
as far as being a well of just like sci-fi content.
Just the Mobius stuff alone. Jeez.
What? Yeah, that's a good point. That is a very good point. But he's teaming up with his frequent collaborators, Jermaine Clement, who's written or worked on What We Do in the Shadows, Flight of the Conchords,
Jermaine.
and Peter Warren,
Jermaine.
Ghost Team in the History of Us. For those of you unaware, the Incal is an epic space opera that was created by Jodorowsky, and Mobius was first published by the French comic publisher Humanoids in the 70s. It's centered on a PI, John DeFool, which I think is a great name, who happens upon a mystical artifact known as the Incal. It's a classic object of great powers coveted by all the factions across the galaxy. DeFool learns that the Incal's powers and true purpose, and then him and a ragtag team crew of unlikely cohorts they embark on this mission that begins as a typical mission to save the universe, but eventually kind of becomes like the spiritual journey for him and his team. They examine duality and the meaning of existence. Like I said, it's one of the highest selling sci-fi graphic novels in
just
history.
For the importance, it's the roots of, the cyberpunk genre.
Oh, yeah.
And then like movies like Blade Runner. It's essentially kind of funny because it's like when the Dune project kind of went belly up, this pretty much like a spite project him and Mobius did. It's like, let's make a comic. We can't make Dune, let's make this.
Yeah, that's right. Because they repurposed, if I'm remembering our Mobius episode well, it's like they repurposed a lot of stuff they were working on during the Dune for Incal.
Yeah.
Has anyone read Incal? Because I'll go ahead and admit, I think I tried reading it early on, maybe a few years ago, like many years ago, actually. And it was just at a time that, I don't know, it just wasn't for me at the time.
Yeah.
But I think after doing all that Mobius research for that episode, I'm here for it.
It's not it's not like a casual read, It's pretty dense, fiction. I've just read the first couple chapters, like I had it in one of my heavy metals.
Okay.
But I don't have the collection, which is, on the list of things to get, and get the whole thing and read it.
Ashley, are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I read it. It feels like a long time ago. Like you said, it's been out since.
It's been out since the
what?
70s.
The
Late
70s?
70s,
Yeah, I
yeah.
feel like I read it in college or something, like a long time ago. And I think I spent most of the time just looking at the artwork.
I had lunch with Mobius. We went over
Well,
it.
It's like Ashley, the math don't
He's
add
gonna
up.
name drop.
You'd be 9 years old.
Me and Jodorowsky. He was crazy.
Yeah. So you said that, but it sounded like you said that the artwork was what captivated you the most.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because it was hard to read. And then when you kind of get sick of reading it, you just start looking through the artwork and kind
I
of
think
like get your story that way.
That's what I did. I think that's what happened with me.
Yeah.
For some reason, it just wasn't connecting story-wise.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a dense science fiction. So, like I said, it's not a casual read at all. It's something you got to, and you can't, and it's easy. Like I'm totally guilty of any comic. I'm just guilty of just looking at pictures. Just all right, I'm tired of this. Just look at these pretty pictures.
Well, look, I is smart now, so I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to give it another shot for sure. Especially like, after having done our Mobius episode, which, I got second shameless plug right here, folks. If you haven't already listened to our Mobius Spotlight episode, please do yourselves a favor and give that a listen. Cesar, who is much more prolific and more knowledgeable about humanoids and Mobius and Jodorowsky than I am, he gives a great crash course into Mobius and what makes him a comic legend. And I think that'll make you much more excited for this news. But to go back to the rest of this announcement, it does sound that Jodorowsky, who I'll admit, I thought he passed away a few years ago, but apparently he's like 90 years. Yeah, 92.
Still kicking.
Still kicking. Still, it sounds like very grouchy and in your face,
but very sharp. Still very sharp. Like in that, their humanoids put out a little 5-minute video of him, basically giving his blessing for this movie to be made. Because he's like, he even says, if I was 40 and this was happening, I'd be depressed. They're stealing my work, but I'm 92. I can't do this, and and as a director, it becomes your vision. You take the material and you make it your own. And like I said, and he says, he pretty much said, this is the right person for the job. So getting his blessing is like, the cherry on the sundae. So it's a really cool little video. It's only a few minutes from Humanoids. And, Waititi talks about reading it and like saying he gets something different every time he reads it. And it's such a things that when he reads it, he's like, sometimes I read it, I know less than when I did coming in. Sometimes I read it, I see things I didn't see before. So I'm
excited to give it a reread for
and
sure.
You can tell he's really, he's really into the source material. So that's really cool too.
Obviously, it's still pretty early on news. There is no information as far as like release date or how it's coming to theaters and whatnot. But Primer Entertainment, which is, like I said, Humanoid's producing partner, they are looking to adapt a few other projects based on a catalog of IP by artists and writers such as John Cassidy, Milo Manara, which I think
that's going to be porno.
which would be very sexy content.
Oh my goodness, that's spicy, folks.
Mark Waid is on this list as well, which I think is pretty interesting. I don't know if Mark Waid has done work with humanoids or heavy metal, but if they're looking at adapting any of Mark Waid's creator-owned work, like Irredeemable or
that'd be cool.
I always forget the name of the other one, Indestructible, or I forget the name of them. But if it's Irredeemable, then I think that'll be pretty cool as well. So, Taika Waititi doing Incal, it just seems like a perfect fit. And if Jodorowsky is giving it the thumbs up and calling him the one for it, then I mean, you can't ask for nothing more. Ed, we've been saving. I've been saving your story segment for last because I think it'll tie into our Fistful of Comics segment really well. But it sounds like new comic fans were not the happiest shop goers this week. Why is that?
Well, Diamond's had a really rough year. This last weekend, they had a ransomware attack, malware attack, basically shut down their website, messed up all the orders for this last week and possibly next week. So, like I said, on the 11th, Diamond, regained some access to their website. They're saying that the client data and financial info was not stored on the systems that was the system that was hacked. But their email system's down. They're using a third party. Like I said, they couldn't process any reorders until I think this weekend, if that's possible. So if you went in and wanted to order something, you couldn't. Like this week, I wanted to order something, and it's like, yeah, sorry. They were saying like, yeah, their website's down. They got hacked. I'm like, what? This is like, and working in a comic store, Diamond's always full of excuses and terrible to deal with. But I thought it was like, are you kidding me? Or is this like, someone says something racist on Twitter and then they say their account got hacked? It wasn't me. But, I talked to, a guy at the comic shop about it. It was pretty crazy. Like only Marvel and DC came in, which my conspiracy hat thinks this is like
for sure.
They just totally
Penguin Random House teaming up with Marvel and DC to crush the competition.
Some bitter ex-Diamond went to programming school. Like, I'll get them.
Oh shit, it gets deeper. He must be pissed off because Diamond didn't pay up tuition like they promised in their benefits.
That's true.
Damn, I don't know.
They probably shut down their IT
Ashley,
team.
where were you this week, Ashley? All week, Ashley.
We know you're on the department of
I do feel bad I didn't go to the comic shop this week because as soon as I saw that image wasn't coming in, I was like, it's kind of no point.
And was it a couple weeks ago the image stuff got messed up for
delayed or something. I usually go on Saturdays, but
gotcha. So it's
not
like
today.
I said, it's been a total mess. And like I said, and as much as we, or at least I, bag on Diamond for their general lack of quality, but there's a lot of publishers that still need them, because like I said, it's even though Marvel and DC, they make up probably 70%, 80% of the comics market, there's smaller publishers that still need distributors. So they do still, play an important role, until, everyone else decides to figure out their own thing. But, they're still distributing a lot of, indie titles and, even bigger indies like, Image. I don't even consider Image like an indie anymore.
No, not at all. It is the big three, in my opinion.
Yeah. So they're like the third, but they're still, behind Marvel and DC. It's a distant third, but it's still big enough. So it's just crazy times for so like I said, this week and next week, guys, I don't, if you have something coming out or, just be aware that's going on.
Ashley, I want you to help me paint a picture of this type of like impact pre-COVID world. Imagine you working back at the comic shop, happily working back at the comic shop, right? Loving every minute of it. Imagine this malware attack happening to Diamond, and this is like Penguin Random House distributing books for Marvel and whatever DC's got. I think Lunar or something. Imagine Diamond going down for a day to two, and then it suddenly becomes like, I don't know when it's going to come back up. How chaotic and just fucked up would it be? How much would it fuck up your day if this was to happen?
So this is what it's like. Even though I don't work at a comic shop, like this is what's stressing me out is they're going to go through 2 weeks of having like lighter orders. And then when everything goes through, they're going to have a massive order that they have to put away, put everything up on the wall, put everything in everyone's pull list for like 2 weeks of just missing all of these comics.
Yeah, and there's a thing where they can't even look up the invoices. There's no tracking information because of this.
And just disappointed faces all day.
Yeah. And it's like, you're the face, so you're the one that gets all the heat because they can't yell at the Diamond people.
You have to apologize on their behalf.
It's like, people yelling at the gas station guy for the gas prices. Like, what's he got to do with? It's like, it's yelling at this guy for.
I guess the thing that definitely makes me cringe a lot is the fact that it sounds like if it's really kind of up to the shop themselves to figure out, what didn't I get in? What did I order? What do I need to reorder? Who's missing what, right? Like, it really, like, the onus falls on the shop owner themselves.
From what I read, it's like they can't, like, there's no tracking information for the stuff that was missed. There's no invoice information. It's like, who knows when it's going to come in, It's like, oh, yeah, so they can't say, oh, don't worry, man, it's going to be in 2 weeks. You don't know. You're just going to have to shrug your shoulders. It's frustrating.
Well, I'm just curious. I wonder if they, got charged for anything and it's not showing up yet, or if they just skipped that whole thing.
I'm sure they took their money. That's
hard for smaller shops to get charged with a big invoice, and then you don't have the stuff to sell.
Yeah, but they're still taking that money out of your account. Your Diamond's still taking that money.
Yeah, they really are. You're right.
You know they are.
Yeah, they're kind of ruthless.
Yeah, know they are.
I guess the lesson to take from this one, Shortbox Nation, is be extra kind to your local comic shop and the employees.
Not their fault. It's not a shop by shop thing. Like, sometimes it happens. Sometimes a shop, like, we've gotten stuff from other shops, orders from other shops come to our store, when I was working. So this is international. This is going, like, who knows overseas what that's like.
If this was a movie, that scene right there would be Ed running into an office with disheveled papers, tie, looking crazy, clearly not sleeping. It's an international incident. So
there's nothing we can do.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it sounds like we've covered all of our news articles and announcements that we wanted to share. So with the news out of the way, it's time for our first regular recurring segment. Shortbox Nation, it's time to make a choice. And if you've been listening long enough, you've only got two options when it comes to this next segment.
You can either have a mouthful of teeth or a fistful of comics.
Fistful of Comics is the part of the show for all you Wednesday warriors who loyally visit your local comic shops every week. Think of this as a show and tell highlighting only the best new comics in the shelves right now, in hopes of making it that much easier for you to grab a fistful of comics yourself next time that you visit your shop. This segment is sponsored by Gotham City Limit, Jacksonville's premier shop for comics, toys, collectibles, and more. If you live in the area or ever find yourself passing through Jacksonville, stop by the shop on Southside Boulevard and tell them the Shortbox sent you. Ashley, you've agreed to highlight a new comic book along with me. I want to go ahead and highlight thing number 1 this week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Hell yeah. So it's written by the legendary crime fiction writer Walter Mosley. He's the creator of the hard-boiled detective Easy Rawlins, who starred in famous books like Devil in a Blue Dress, Red Death. The comic is drawn by Tom O'Reilly, who's new to me. I'm not familiar with his work, but I loved it. And colorist Jordi Belair, who I think really shines in this first issue. So the first issue is part of a story arc called The Next Big Thing Part 1. I'm not sure how long the series will run. I think last time I checked, it was like 4 or 5 issue limited run. So, but the solicitation I thought says it kind of perfectly. The next big thing will remind audiences why the Thing is one of the most popular and beloved characters in the history of comics, which I think it's safe to say when it comes to comic fans, fandom, and love for the ever loving blue-eyed Thing. It's strong. He's got a cult following, and it's very easy to I think say that he is probably everyone's favorite member of the Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. And I'll try to recap the story as best as I can. It's definitely pretty out there in my opinion, but
it's like a day in the life, but just everything goes wrong for this poor guy.
For sure. Which you hate to see it happen to someone as lovable as the Thing, but that's why you love him so much, is that he's always going through just a rough day. Aside from looking like a monster, everything just seems to kind of go.
He gets maced. That poor guy.
Yeah, it finds this particular comic finds the Thing having to deal with these very particular scenarios that put him in not only trouble with the law, but just kind of like, at odds with his friends. And of course, it's not of his own doing per se. He's actually been cursed by this demon, right? Like this kind of like Grim Reaper looking character.
Yeah, they put like some kind of weird hex on him. So he's just bad luck.
Yeah. Ben also has to deal with his fiance, Alicia Masters, giving him back his ring because of his erratic behavior.
She's not looking good. She's like hanging out with that French dude with a scarf.
Yeah.
Like, man. And
always a French dude with a scarf that'll take your girl.
And I do like there's like kind of this almost like this superhero drunk tank he gets thrown into with Hercules.
I did love that scene. That was funny.
So awesome.
That was really funny. But Ben Grimm's just having a really shitty day in this comic book. And you know what? It just kind of at his lowest low, he ends up kind of signing up for this really shady futuristic dating app. And the story kind of ends there, but there's kind of a big cliffhanger that leads into issue 2. But the art is super moody, which makes sense considering that Walter Mosley, is known for his hard-boiled detective stories. The colors by Jordi Belair, I just got to champion how good they look, but it feels like sexy jazz music from like 90s crime movies should be playing the whole time.
Some like reading sultry saxophone playing.
Overall, it's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of style.
Yeah.
Good jumping on point. You don't really need to know much about the character at all. I mean, I think in the beginning they do preface it that, hey, this, as far as continuity and where this takes place, it's somewhere in the middle of the Thing's kind of Fantastic Four career.
Yeah.
So clearly they're it's still the original members of Fantastic Four. They're still doing their thing, and it's right before he marries Alicia Masters, at least in this current continuity.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's like you get to, even just in a few pages, you get to see what like a lonely life this guy has,
Yes.
And it's just really well done. It's like a fun, and like I said, I'm glad it's a few issues, but it's a really, fun title to jump onto.
Yeah, for sure. So that is my new comic recommendation. Ashley, I will turn it over to you. Like I said, saving the best for last. What do you got for us this week?
So I've got New Burn by Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips.
I saw that.
I had to get it digitally, but it was really good. So it looks like the cover looks like the Brubaker Phillips stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Jacob Phillips is Sean Phillips' son, and he definitely looks like a student of his. So he did the artwork, the colors, lettering, everything. And it has this detective thing, and it's like it goes around. The guy's name is Easton Newburn, and he's like a detective for like the gangs, like the Italian mafia, like the Russians, the Yakuza. He's like their detective. So he's kind of like this morally corrupt dude that used to be a cop, but he's also kind of like an untouchable because he works for all these different gangs, so none of them will ever mess with him. It was just a really cool setup. It had like a little story in it, but it was mostly just kind of learning who this guy is. And I'm probably like a little biased because it's Chip Zdarsky, but I thought it was great.
I will say one thing for starters. You could have just said this book was just a classic Brubaker Phillips joint, and I would have believed you because that sounds exactly.
It looks like one of their hardcovers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it looks like it.
Secondly, Jacob Phillips also did a series last year. It was called That Texas Blood. It was with Chris Condon that I really enjoyed a lot as well. So I'm going to mention
That's
that.
crazy. It's the son because I listened to an interview with Frank Quietly. His son does his colors. So that's pretty crazy.
Keep it in the family.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That's pretty cool. Now I got to check that out. That sounds like a really interesting premise.
It's nepotism.
Thank you, Ed, for explaining that. That's good. All right, folks. So those are our new comic picks. So give those recommendations a shot next time you visit a comic shop or next time you're looking for something new to flip through. Next up is my favorite part of the show. It's listener emails and the Champion Season segment. But first, we're going to go on a quick music break. For today's soundtrack, it'll be a repeat joint by Mecha the Marvelous. I premiered this instrumental last week, but I've had it on repeat since then. It's the instrumental for his new single, Backseat. It's also got an accompanying music video. I'll link in the show notes. In the meantime, relax, and we'll be right back with emails and current All right, Shortbox Nation. Once again, the music you just heard was by Mecca and the Marvelous. That was the instrumental to his new single, Backseat. If you liked it as much as I do, it is available on Spotify and Apple Music. So show your support by streaming it or check out his Bandcamp. There's a link for that in our show notes. Emails. Let's go ahead and hear what our listeners got to say, because we love giving them a spotlight as well. We've got one email this week, and it comes from T-Mix, our most recent inductee into the Shortbox Elite. He became a Shortbox patron last month. And he is someone that is slowly becoming one of my most anticipated listeners to hear from, because he gives Cesar so much shit.
Yeah.
And here is what we got. So let's hear what he's got to share with us this week. His email is titled John Stewart, and he writes, "Yo, I'm enjoying my yo and my announcement, becoming a thing of Shortbox lore."
Yeah.
But he continues, "What up, Shortbox? I feel like an asshole for not saying thanks for the welcome package. It was great. Heroes Reborn was hysterical. It's Bodder's favorite thing. Marvel writing DC characters. Green Lantern Year 1, Volume 2 was great because it tied into the John Stewart episode, which I love the official and after-party episodes on John Stewart. The Bruce Timm universe was jumping off point, and the comic was probably meant to say was my jumping on point in the comic, so John Stewart was my first Green Lantern. It was great to learn about his comic book history, and I'm looking forward to reading some more of his comic books. Going back to Justice League Unlimited, it pains me that I have to correct y'all considering the Justice League Unlimited's pilot episode. John isn't friends with Barry Allen. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited's Flash is Wally West.
Oh.
Go back to Thanagarian Invasion. Clark Kent, Wally West, Bruce Wayne. I chose to blame Bodder. I choose to blame Bodder. Yo, I just gave him credit for giving Cesar shit, and so far he's got.
Oh, nobody's safe.
Yeah. Speaking of the fearless leader, during the after show, I legit thought Bodder was going to pick Immortal Hulk as a spooky season. I'm 15 chapters into Uzumaki, and yeah, it's fucked up. I tried to warn you guys. I tried. Then he writes a sentence in Spanish for Cesar, because Cesar normally reads our emails, but he's not here today. So I'm going to try my best.
Did you Google Translate it?
Yeah, I'm going to fuck it up. Ooh, that's a good idea. Let me try translating this, because I don't want to fuck this up. Google.
Can't wait to hear the Spanglish version of what this is supposed to be.
All right, it comes out to Cesar hurts me that you're a Boricua who doesn't like reggaeton. To the great Puchica, is that say?
I think so.
Puchica, what that whore?
Wow.
I mean, it's Google Translate, so it's terrible.
Oh my god!
Yeah. He calls Cesar a whore.
Aggressive.
Puchita.
I learned some Spanish today.
Yeah, that is fucking funny.
Wow.
And I'm sure I slaughtered. I'm sure between me and Google Translate, we definitely slaughtered that. T-Mix continues to write, you like what you like, though. But yo, Judas Priest, and no one mentioned Phil Lamar yelling, Judas Priest! Thanks, Bodder, for the champion. That Anthony Mackie episode was great. I think he's talking about my champion for the Quest Love podcast. I've rambled enough, so I'll leave y'all with my new champion. It's pretty new, but I think for music heads, it's a must listen. Next Spin is a great podcast diving into different
on. This is collusion.
If Cesar was here, he'd be fucking complaining about this champion. But hold on, I'm going to finish it because I appreciate this for obvious reasons. Next Spin is a great podcast diving into different genres of music through a love of vinyls. I highly recommend episode 5, Music from the African Diaspora. No mames, Cesar, no mames. Hasta la próxima, putos y Ashley. Keep it geeky. T-Mix. P.S. Bodder, you got to get Yaya and Cesar together to talk about reggaeton. Ashley, do you want me to Google Translate that last line?
It sounds aggressive.
I don't know.
That last line translates to, don't suck, Cesar, don't suck. Until next time, bitches, and Ashley.
Oh, okay, that's nice. You're
Turned out better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
I am here.
You're a bitch exempt.
Now, I want to go ahead and apologize to all of our Spanish speaking listeners if I have
we have a big following
or absolutely ruined any of that translate. It's all Google Translate's fault. Cesar normally does a fantastic job translating and reading that. But I do want to say, T-Mix, thank you for shamelessly plugging in my other podcast, Next Spin, into this podcast, because, I always feel bad doing that. But, he did it.
He doesn't feel bad at all.
So if you're a music head, I will say, here's my shameless plug number 3 for those keeping count. Check out Next Spin if you love talks about music genres and vinyl. The other thing I'll address, T-Mix, is that you seem to enjoy the Quest Love podcast, and the recommendation I gave a few weeks ago. The Anthony Mackie episode is great. I want to go ahead and encourage you to listen to these other interviews that were fantastic. They had Jack White on the show. Great interview. That dude is so cool. I thought he was going to be a douche, but he was like really cool.
It does seem like that.
Right? And I mean, that might be my own perception and interpretation of like the little bit I've seen of him, but their interview with him was great. Like, he is truly like a musician's musician. Has a great love of music and respect. The Snoop Dogg interview was awesome. I feel like we all have an idea of who Snoop Dogg is, whether it be, Martha Stewart's best friend.
I know Snoop Lion.
Yeah, he's Snoop Lion. Pick any variation, but the interview that they did with him was so enlightening, and getting to hear Snoop kind of drop like the commercial facade that he has, or the character, was fantastic. So I'll recommend those two to you, T-Mix. And thank you so much for writing in. I'm glad that you enjoyed the Patreon welcome package. I'm glad that you enjoyed the Jon Stewart episode. And I guess we did fuck up. Maybe maybe the Flash and Justice League Unlimited is Wally West. I thought it was Barry Allen this whole time.
No, he's right. I think he's right. Yeah, very sure.
Right. Well, you win a no prize, T-Mix. So that's our emails for today. I want to encourage anyone listening that has a thought to share, or some shit talking that they want to get off their chest, or even just like a champion that you guys want to share as well. We always encourage our listeners to join in on the show, join in on the fun. Feel free to write us a short email to read next episode. You can do so by writing an email, sending it to our inbox at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. Or you can even send us a voicemail too. You can go to speakpipe.com/theshortbox, leave a short voicemail. Please keep it short, and we'll play that next episode. But like I said, that's our email for today. So it's time to wrap up this episode with our last regular recurring segment. It's time to champion some great entertainment options from other media. Kids, grab your coins, because only the best of the best get talked about in this segment.
Champion Season.
Champion Season is the part of the show where we highlight other worthwhile entertainment and recommendations that we feel deserves your attention. These could be much more than comics, but include movie picks, TV series, books, or video games, and anything else we're hyped on this week. This segment is brought to you by Black Hive Tattoo, Jacksonville's premier appointment-only custom tattoo studio. If you're searching for a group of talented artists who will work with you to bring your comic culture ideas to life, look no further. Go to blackhivetatattoo.com and sign up for the newsletter to find out when they're taking new project requests. Ed, I'm gonna look to you, man. I'm gonna have you kick us off for Champion Season. What do you want to champion today?
I got a couple. I will follow up the music recommendation. There is a great interview, and I don't think I championed this, but Mark Maron, WTF, he did an interview, I believe, late last year with Bootsy Collins, one of my favorite musicians, and it is awesome. He's pretty much what you'd expect him to be, and he has some fantastic James Brown stories. It's a great interview because he just released an album last year, The Power of the One, and he explains what that means. Well, like I said, if you want some great James Brown stories, this is a great interview to have. It's a fun interview. It's not too serious, but yeah, it's a cool one. And then another more recent interview is comic book Kayfabe. They just interviewed Mike Mignola.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did see that.
And what's really cool is that they reviewed like the Right Hand of Doom previously, and then Mike heard it, and then basically they hopped on an interview with them and said they did a great job, going over his work. So that's a cool interview. Very, very low key, humble guy, despite all his fantastic success that he's had. So he just, it's funny, he'll talk about drawing Hellboy. It's like, it's like I just write stories where I don't have to draw, where I don't include things I have to draw. Like there's not going to be an airplane or a car. He's not going to be writing. Hellboy's not going to be writing in a car or on a plane. And it's just like he's very, very self-effacing. It's a very fun interview. Just kind of a great, crazy career. Being roommates with like Art Adams.
Damn.
Yeah, just like so we always knew Art was going to be the superhero guy, and he started as an inker. Like I said, it's a cool, basically goes over his entire career. It's a fun interview, so I definitely recommend those two.
Seeing that they had Mike Mignola on the show just made me happy for them, because I know how much they love not only Mike Mignola, but like comic book, like comic artist, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I think Mike Mignola definitely fits that category. So that's awesome. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, and what's good with like
check that out.
Like Jim and Ed is like they're fans. They're
Dude,
super
big
fans,
nerds.
but they're also creators, so they can go over all the technique, they can go over all the process stuff. They're really good at that, and I think Jim kind of keeps Ed's kind of weird character things he does. It's very snarky. I think Jim kind of is like the nice, balanced guy, But yeah, their interviews are great. They've had a couple. They've had one with another artist I like, Dave Cooper. They had an interview with him. Maybe a couple. They've been on a roll with some interviews.
Good champions, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, what are you going to champion today?
So I've got two. Speaking of Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement, What We Do in the Shadows season 3 just finished up. And I don't know, Ed, have you been watching it?
Not the new season. I love the show. Though,
okay.
Because I like the I like the movie when it came out. The original movie.
I've probably seen that movie like 100 times.
So when they did the show, I was like, I like the people in it, but it's a show. I was like, but they totally changed it. And it's, the show. I've just watched I think the first season, so I need to catch up.
Yeah. You got to get to the second season as Haley Joe Osment in it.
Oh, God. Is he a dirtbag in this too?
It's funny.
He's
so it
like
just, it just has like those laugh out loud moments. Like it's one of the only shows I can think of where I'm watching it and then it'll just make me laugh like out of nowhere, just out loud. Really, it's just good. So that just finished up, and then I finally watched A Quiet Place 2.
Oh.
Which I was waiting because the first one was so good. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be able to like capture that.
I didn't see
but
the
I liked it even better than the first one. It was amazing.
Really?
This is basically her with a baby, trying to keep it quiet from the aliens or whatever.
Pretty much like, pretty much takes place right after the first movie.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
It just kind of gives you like a little insight into like how everything got started, and then it just takes you right back.
It's kind of
it
like
was so good.
Silly a premise. In retrospect, that first one really set that tension, like right at the beginning.
Well said,
it's terrifying.
This is the world I'm in. Okay, I get it. They didn't waste any time. It's like, okay, these sound monsters are going to come eat me, if I step on a twig. So, okay, we got it. Hit the ground running.
Just think.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrifying. Like, no dogs. Like, my dogs would be gone in 10 seconds.
Gone.
They would, like, bark the second they saw one of those things.
And I think the first one ends with her giving birth to her new child, and then the movie kind of ends in that regard. So I remember leaving thinking about all the ways a newborn, infant baby would,
So
completely
scary.
ruin
Don't they
like
do
your
some
day.
kind of like? Didn't they do like some kind of radio waves to like fight them off? I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. Like
to like keep their armor open so they can shoot them. But then they have like that. They had it in the first movie, that weird little like coffin thing. They stick the baby in when it cries.
That's right.
Oh,
Soundproof
It's like
coffin.
steel in a cooler. It's like anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that movie. I'm surprised that
No baby coffins are out.
hasn't been made.
Introducing the new baby coffin, as seen in A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Baby's crying, bumming you out. Put him in the coffin.
Baby up.
Shut that baby up.
Actually, how did you want? Is it available on streaming?
I rented it on Amazon Prime, but I think I'm just gonna buy it now. And it also has Cillian Murphy in it, who's done like so many good science fiction movies that you just forget that he's in, because he's like the Peaky Blinders guy. But he was in like Sunshine and 28 Days Later. Like he's really good in these like apocalyptic, like disaster movies.
Okay,
it was good.
All right,
definitely recommend.
I'll give that a watch then for sure. I've only got one. In true Botter fashion, this is an old ass piece of content. But Metal Gear Solid 5: Phantom Pain, which came out in 2015. So I'm 6 years late.
I haven't played it, so.
But well.
I'm still playing Sons of Liberty.
I've
Jesus.
had two.
Still rocking
with
the
the
PS2.
times, Ed.
That's my DVD player still. That's antiquated too.
Well, and in all fairness, I bought this one. To set it up, I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. It's probably like my favorite video game franchise, if not game of all time. Behind, I think, Street Fighter is safe to say. But I've purchased every single one that's come out, and I've had this game since it came out in 2015. I just remember playing it for like an hour and being so put off by like this whole new mechanic. It's open world. The it's like extensive option menus, and the controls just felt so much different from previous iterations. It just turned me off, and I just didn't have an open mind as far as giving it a shot. So it just stayed in its case for 6 years. And then I recently went on the Metal Gamers podcast, and I had brought it up in some roundabout way, and they highly recommended it. And then of course Ryan Paul Thompson from GAM, I was talking to him about maybe starting it up, and he was like, "Yo, as a Metal Gear Solid fan, you got to see it to the end. You got to give this game a shot." So I've been playing it for the last, I want to say, about month now, and it's more so like an addiction at this point. Like I am so into this game. I've clocked in like more than, I think, 80, 90 hours into it.
God.
And if I'm not doing podcasts...
He quit his job.
I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close. I'm on, I think the game has...
like some World of Warcraft type commitment.
Dude, it's pretty out there. I wake up every morning looking forward to attacking Russian camps and saving, child rebel soldiers. But it is a really fun game.
Is that the one you fight Big Boss in like a field?
No, that is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Where
you play.
That's the last one.
So you are playing as Big Boss in this one, and it's the final. It's the ninth and final, I think, installment of. I'm sorry, the final game in the Metal Gear saga. It's directed, written, and designed by Hideo Kojima. And as you know, he completely split ways with
Konami.
Yeah, Konami. So this is it as far as like having the founder and OG being involved.
Does it make any more sense?
Man. Sorta, in the sense of like, it is crazy that they've been working backwards this whole time.
So this is a prequel-ish.
It is,
because Big Boss is dead, right?
Well, I think I haven't beaten it yet for starters. But I mean, it's no secret that Big Boss, when you play Metal Gear Solid 1, Big Boss has been dead, and I think you end up defeating Big Boss in one of like the OG Nintendo version games, which I haven't played like the original Nintendo Metal Gear Solid Metal Gear games. But yes, it is essentially like just kind of a prequel to a prequel to a prequel,
Gotcha.
Right? But it's fun. It's just like really involved. It's more you got to think a little differently in this game because it is like open world, so you've still got to be strategic and sneak around. But
was the one you had to unplug the controller?
No, that was one.
That was one. Okay,
but yeah, that which I mean, honestly, I think that was such a moment, for a lot of people playing that game. Like anytime people will bring up, you mention Metal Gear Solid to a crowd, and someone's going to be like, "Remember when you had to unplug your
that's what I remember.
Player 2 to beat Psycho Mantis?" Yeah,
I remember not knowing what the hell was going on and having to do weird shit like that.
So, long story short, Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. If you're like me and you were just on the fence about it, you never got around to it, and you're a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, it is well worth getting into, clocking in the hours. I think there's 46 main missions. I'm on like mission 19. It's definitely involved, but a whole lot of fun.
Or PS4?
PS4.
Okay.
So check it out, play it. It's well worth it. That's really my only champion. I did want to share just some words about Eternals, because I know some folks had asked me about the Eternals movies, the Eternal movie, especially since our last crew episode was a spotlight on the original Jack Kirby stuff. And I'll start off with the positive. And try to keep it spoiler-free just in case. I mean, the movie only came out a week. I'll keep it spoiler-free for this week. The Celestials are fantastic. I think this movie and their inclusion into the MCU like really broadens the scope of the MCU. Like you feel like, holy shit, this world managed to just get like even bigger, because they're playing with like the concept of creation and whatnot. And a lot of things that we were talking about in our episode where like Jack Kirby managed to create this property and these characters that tie into the very core and root and beginnings of the Marvel comic universe. That's kind of the feeling you get watching this movie. It's like, oh shit, like they're playing with like cosmic beings creating people and etc. So there's that sense of like grandiose scope. There's a lot of really good looking scenes and cinematography, in my opinion. Like anytime Angelina Jolie shows up in the movie, she's got some really well thought out shot, like really stylistic shots she's fantastic in it.
Well,
like, you leave this movie and you're
one
like,
of those beautiful people in the world.
Yeah, so it only makes sense that like she gets like these really pristine, cool looking, captivating,
Thena,
stunning
right?
shots. Yeah, she plays Thena. And by the time you leave the movie, you're like, holy shit, why hasn't Angelina Jolie been in the MCU prior to this. Like, I need more of her because she absolutely kills it. So those are my positives. Those are like the things I thoroughly enjoyed.
And you spoiled there's no Carcass.
No Carcass. I'm sorry, Ed.
No Reject either?
No, no pretty motherfucking name Reject at all.
That would have been an instant 5-star, 100% for me if Carcass rolled up.
I was waiting for
his
it.
Metal pants.
But yeah, there are sometimes where you feel the length of this movie. Like sometimes it feels like, yeah, this is a 2.5+ hour movie.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of feel like, ugh, can we please get to something? Like for the most part, to me, there was a lot of uneventful moments where I wish it was more show rather than tell, because they spent a lot of time, much like Suicide Squad, where, hey, let's go walk to this person's house and tell them about this plot point or what's going on. It was, I don't know, it just felt kind of redundant at times. And
with so many people to balance,
yeah, and
that's a lot, a big cast.
And I get it. And in a world where we're getting Marvel shows on Disney Plus, maybe we should start leaning into that as a medium for some of these, especially like big kind of concepts like Eternals, where we need time to flesh things out. We need, we've got a lot of characters. We can dedicate episodes to this and that. Like, let's see more of that. And I'm all here for it, even if it means waiting longer periods to get these shows.
Yeah, I think, especially with this ensemble, I mean, I don't know if they could use these actors per se, because they're all, top shelf. But,
yeah, true.
But man, a series with this, you need a series to explain the concept of this, and just, we're building like a universe, like galaxies. This is like the origin of creation. This is big.
And a lot of concepts that they introduce a lot of cool concepts, and I won't get into detail just to avoid spoilers, but they introduce a lot of cool concepts that you're like, holy shit, that's really cool. Oh, that's a good plot twist from the original source material. Oh, wow, I wonder how that's going to impact this character. But sometimes it feels like those plot points either fall short or they don't give it to you, at least in this movie. Maybe they'll revisit them in later stuff, but some of the things they introduce, they just don't pay off very well, which I think kind of hurts it. And once again, you feel like, damn it, if only they would have stayed on that. And, but towards the end, you're like, all right, I get it. They needed to wrap this shit up because we've been here for 2 hours. But it's like, damn it, no, that was really cool. Like, what else is there to that?
I know Marvel has a pretty good track record of this, but in your opinion, do you think if you had zero familiarity with these characters, it's kind of an easy thing to fall into?
Absolutely. Yes.
That's the tricky part. It's like,
yeah, no, dude, I think we made a joke, I think, on our episode that, they'll probably spend all 2 hours explaining this whole wild ass concept that Jack Kirby came up with. But I thought they did a really good job keeping it high level, simple, but still, like, you still got the epicness of it as well. And what I will say is that this is one of the more unique looking Marvel movies. And I think a large part of that is because a lot of the settings take place in, like, biblical times, or like these civilizations that you've maybe only read or heard of or seen.
So they do some time jumps?
Yeah. Like some of the
cool.
the settings that they take you to is like, wow, this looks really cool. Like,
nice.
Let's stay here. Let's stay here. So, but overall, I will say it's definitely worth seeing. They're taking Phase 4 is just interesting to me, man. It feels so much different than, what we got with Phase 1 through 3. Like 1 through 3, I felt like had a very clear mission statement. Yeah. Phase 4, I think you're still seeing like a lot of these ideas being played out, and
it's like their world building in
Phase
4.
And if anything, I almost feel like they're giving us two kind of separate paths, because by the time you finish this movie and you see the end credits, which are fucking awesome, like, comic heads will get hype over the first end credit, and then even the second one, you're like, oh shit, we going here?
Was it more hype than the Thanos? If you had to compare?
Oh, nah, I remember. I remember seeing like Thanos for the first time, and it's like, oh, what the fuck?
I think I audibly gasped.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
I was like, holy shit, is that Thanos? And the person I went with had no idea what I was talking about. It's like,
yeah, the two that you
shut
get,
up, nerd.
The two that you get from this one, you're like, oh shit, like these have got to be like separate tracks, right? Like they're just, I'm kind of hoping that we get like separate tracks going on. It doesn't have to all like tie in. I'm hoping that like they play around with what they introduce, but I know that was a very vague review, but like I said, maybe I'll revisit and give a more detailed one when C can join us, and it's been a couple of days. But actually, Ed, do you guys have any plans to see Eternals?
Yeah, I want to see it. Been like I said, it's definitely on the list to see. I just haven't had a chance to do. I was going to try to do it before today, but I just didn't get a chance to head to the theater. But yeah, it's definitely. Yeah. I definitely want to see it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely. I am excited to be able to get a second viewing of Shang-Chi, thanks to Disney Plus Day. Ooh. So that's probably what I'm going to do tonight. And I think we are at a good. No, actually, we are not at a good stopping point because since this segment is brought to you by our good friends at Black Hive Tattoo. Nick Wagner, the head honcho of Black Hive himself, he's going to help us close out this week's Champion Season segment. So let's hear what he's going to champion for us.
Hey guys, it's Nick Wagner from Black Hive Tattoo again with this week's pick. It's been a little while, but I had something that I've been rereading, and I was apparently, as usual, late to the game. I think number 2 is out for this. It's Echo Lands from Image Comics. If you are a fan of the art in Sandman Overture, this is going to be right up your alley. It's beautiful, and the story so far is incredible, and I can't wait to see what comes. That's about it for this week. Have a good one.
Yeah, that's the one that has a kind of that rectangular format. It's a different comic shape.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't fit on the shelf at all.
It's always like those cool, interesting, like kind of out of the normal format or form function.
It sticks out for sure.
You're like, oh wow, this is really cool until you have to like put it up on your bookshelf or find a spot for it, and you're like,
it's like covering up half another comic. Like, what is this?
Like I love the Treasury editions until I get them, and I'm like, none of my IKEA shelves fit this. You know, like you gotta find like. I guess I'll put it by the fridge.
They're like this big.
Yeah.
Like, who's this for?
All right, I looked up Echo Lands real quick, and like Nick said, it's a new Image series, but it's written by J.H. Williams, which I'm familiar with him from like the Batwoman team. Well, actually, I think it is the Batwoman team because J.H. Williams. W. Hayden Blackman, who wrote a really good Elektra series back when Marvel had like their Marvel Now.
Marvel
Now line. He did it with Mike Del Mundo, which is still fantastic.
I remember that. Yeah,
and then you've got Dave Stewart. Come on, Color Supreme Dave Stewart. So this looks pretty cool. This looks really good. Looks like Little Red Riding Hood, but a really total badass. That officially brings us to the end of the show. Before I get into our outro, before we get out of here, Ed, Ashley, what did we learn today? Help us close out the show. Ashley, what did you learn today?
What did I learn? Dang, I forgot we were doing this part.
New segment.
I mean, all the Disney Plus stuff was really cool. I'm very excited for Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and I guess I will see Eternals. Without Carcass, whatever, I'll still pay the $15 for the ticket.
That's what I learned, and I'm bummed. No Carcass or Reject. Maybe in the sequel.
Yeah.
And I learned that Jodorowsky's still alive.
Yeah. I learned Jodorowsky's still alive.
92.
And I also learned maybe the most important lesson, which is don't rely on Google Translate to give you a 100% accurate translation of Spanish curse words. Shout out to Team Mix. All right, but that's truly it. So there you have it, Shortbox Nation. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this week. Let us know what you thought about Disney Plus Day. Maybe there was an announcement or a title card that we didn't highlight. Tell us what your most anticipated project or show coming out is. I did forget real quick on the topic of that. I am that much more excited for the Hawkeye series to come out. They do show. Actually, I don't know. You said you didn't watch the trailer. I think they have a long fucking. They show like a good scene from the Hawkeye series. I know you're not into like spoilers or anything, which I guess is not worth watching because it comes out in a few weeks. But it had me even more hyped for this Hawkeye series.
I wish he still had that sweet faux hawk.
No, I'm glad they put some respect on his name.
What are you talking about? That was glorious.
It was glorious for all the wrong reasons.
It's like a lion. It's great.
Anyways, Shortbox Nation, like I said, let us know what you're looking forward to when it comes to Disney Plus Day and all the new Marvel Studio announcements, or even non-Marvel Studio announcements. Let us know what you thought. Next week, we are going to do a Hawkeye Spotlight. We're going to be talking about the Matt Fraction David Aja run from, what was that, like 2000? What year was that, Ashley? 2000 something?
I just remember I was working at the comic shop.
Oh, yes. the glory days, as you like to call them.
It was.
So glorious.
Nah, but I remember when that series came out, it was really a pretty good ass time to be a like fan. So we'll be talking about the first volume, which will probably be the first 6 issues of that Matt Fraction David Aja run from 2012. It'll be just in time for the new Hawkeye series that'll be debuting on Disney Plus later this month. So make sure that you guys come back next week for that episode. Hopefully we'll have Cesar back. We'll see how he survives fucking Rockville.
Oh, don't go in the mosh pit. See, it's not worth it.
But in the meantime, you can creep into our DMs on social media or send us a short email to read next episode. Write us at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. But if that's too long for you to wait, check out the latest episode of our spin-off podcast, Pilot's License. If you love classic comic book cartoons and animated shows, as much as we do, the series is for you. We just dropped an episode all about Batman Beyond. And more than likely, because of this X-Men 97 news, our next episode will probably be about X-Men the Animated Series. I think it's only right. So you can check that out, as well as all of our bonus content, all of our bonus episodes over on our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/theshortbox to sign up, or just click the link in our show notes. And don't forget about that live show. It'll be December 10th. It'll be Spider-Man themed, just in time for the movie. If you live in Jackson, the surrounding area, I'm telling you, it's worth it. Tickets are free. Just register that Eventbrite link in the show notes. In the meantime, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't. And most importantly, take care of yourself. Have a great day. Please continue to make mine and yours short. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.